Okay, it's officially the first week of football season now because you have NFL football. So the whole thing works now. Now I can finally do this. And you know that I say pretty often how much I hate the term hot seat. I don't like it at all. Never like it. Never use it. So I like to use the term under pressure. So let's do that. That would be coaches. That would be players, organizations. And in one case, you can start guessing this one already. And in one case, a broadcaster. So I'm not going to use the term hot seat. You cannot use the term hot seat. Under pressure. These are the people and the organizations that have to deliver this week. Have to. Feel free to disagree. The pressure list so far this week. First up, I have to say it right away, relationships. Relationships. Why relationships, Jeff? Well, relationships because it's over. We are about to be a loveless and sexless country for the next 6 months. And the reason why, you already know this, because it's already happening. If you're female, you know this already. He's gone. He's gone. He's out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you say to him. He's out. If you employ people and they're male between the ages of 18 and 60, you know this already. He's gone. He's out. His email is nothing but fantasy football. So relationships are over starting this week. They don't exist. There's nothing to them. There's no communication. There's no dinner. There's no sex whatsoever. It is a country of men on crack for the next 6 months. Fantasy football. Yeah. Whatever drug you would like to do instead, you'd be better off for it. Fantasy football. So that means men between the ages of, let's say, 18 and 60. I mean, I guess it could go younger than that. For the next 6 months, they're gone. They're non-existent. Their productivity, somebody could study this. The productivity of American men, which is probably not very high to begin with, is non-existent for the next 6 months because of fantasy football. They are all consuming the crack that is fantasy football. Couples therapy, you might want to try it. You'd bring it up. You'd reach out to your therapist and say, he's gone. It's a waste of time. He won't show up. Fantasy football. Under pressure, Quinn Ewers. In an interesting way, in mostly a good way, but completely under pressure this week. Let me tell you why. If he plays well, Texas wins. If he plays really well, Texas wins, and he's very much in the Heisman race. So Texas gets this game this weekend with Michigan, the bluest of blue bloods. And there's not a whole lot going on outside of the NFL. Certainly in the college game, there's nothing to compete. There's nothing else in broadcast that's going to get in the way. These are the two biggest brands. They're number 1 and 4 in all-time wins. So everything points to watching that game. And everything points to that game is his. It's the game for Quinn Ewers. He carries Texas. He doesn't have to necessarily, but if he were to play really well, he's completely in the Heisman race. I don't know if I would argue he's a front runner because that's kind of weird, but he's very much in it. If he were to play badly, then he almost plays himself out, although he gets a couple of other chances. But, this is your chance to sort of be launched into the Heisman race for Quinn Ewers. And, here's the thing. He's going up against, I think, the second best defense Texas will play all year. The toughest defense Texas will play will be Georgia. So the game is about him. The offensive game is about him. And you would say, well, but Jeff, the Texas defense. Look, Michigan is clunky at best on offense. They're pretty awful on offense, obviously. They don't know where they're going yet. So this is a game about Quinn Ewers. And Quinn Ewers gets his offense to 28 points, they win. They win, he's in the Heisman race. CeeDee Lamb. You would say Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott is just too obvious. That one's too easy. CeeDee Lamb has no option. There is no, well, you might play pretty well, or you could take a few plays off. CeeDee Lamb has to deliver for Dallas. I could say this every single week. But Dallas is playing Cleveland on the road, one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the three best defenses in the entire NFL. And Dallas doesn't have a whole lot of help offensively. It's on CeeDee Lamb. He has to play well. I don't know the magic number. You fantasy nerds would know this already. It's got to be at least be 6 catches. Dallas wants Dallas wants a close game. Dallas doesn't want it to be a shootout. But either way, any kind of throwing game whatsoever, it's on CeeDee Lamb. So everybody knows he's going to be targeted. Can he get free? I think so. He's proven that he can. Can Dak Prescott find him? He's proven that he can. I think it's 6 catches or more, and it has to be that way. C.J. Stroud. We've spent, myself included, an entire offseason bragging about this guy, bragging about the Texans, mentioning the Texans more than we have in 6 years, and now's his chance. Are we guilty of building him up too much? I don't think so, but it's on him now. It's on him. The Texans are favored, I think, by 2.5 over the Colts. It's 2 pretty good offenses. No, 2 really good offenses. I'm sorry. One that might be great. And for C.J. Stroud, it's not about him playing extremely well against Indianapolis. It's not that big of a deal. But for C.J. Stroud to get to that tier, right? He's in that second tier. I think he's in that second tier. It goes Mahomes, Burrow, and then it drops down a tier. And he's in that group of Josh Allen, of Jordan Love, of Dak Prescott, of Justin Herbert. He's in that group. And so to be at the top of that group or maybe even find his way to the next tier, it's he can get there. It's that kind of talent, that kind of team around him. Everything they need for a deep run is there. The Texans are the 49ers 2.0. They've given him everything he wanted. It's on him. He takes them. As he goes, so go the Texans. And that's in playoffs. That's deep in the playoffs. Here's a weird one under pressure. Tom Brady. Yeah. Well, sort of. Here's why he's not under pressure, and he's not under pressure. Tom Brady, the broadcaster. Tom Brady, the media personality. The Tom Brady who's gone Snoop Dogg on the entire offseason by being anywhere and everywhere. Tom Brady has a guaranteed deal with Fox, guaranteed over 10 years, paying him more than $37 million per year. Tom Brady will make more money this year than he did in his first 16 seasons in the NFL. So I think that's pressure. He's got a new face. I think that's weird. I think that's pressure. Tom Brady, I've said it many times. If you've just watched him, I think the launching pad was that hilarious roast. But the guy's been all over the place, and he's been trying really, really hard. He's been screaming a lot. Will he be the get off my lawn angry guy that we've heard all off season? He might. So he's under pressure because it's $37 million a year for Fox. They're all in. Fox decided, I think it's a terrible mistake, Fox decided to demote what I think is the best analyst in the game, that is Greg Olson. They've moved him, who knows where he is this weekend. Probably got a Carolina game and is pissed about it. And so Tom Brady is there. They're stuck with him. They have no idea what they have. We have no idea what we're going to see. So, yeah, I think there's a ton of pressure. Everything Tom Brady does, every facial expression, every phrase, every screaming fit, every get off my lawn moment. It wasn't like that when I was playing. Hot take. These guys suck now. Hot takes. Everything he does and says, including all of his non-wrinkles, because he has no wrinkles. So it's like his face has been pulled all the way back already. But even the non-wrinkles are an issue for Tom Brady. And not only that, guess what his first game is? Dallas and Cleveland. Like, that would be a huge number no matter what. A squirrel could be in the booth, and Dallas, Cleveland is going to be a huge number. Throw Tom Brady in there, and you know this, right? Everybody wants to hate on Tom Brady. Everybody cannot wait to go to social media and rip anything and everything Tom Brady does. So, I mean, I don't think it comes natural to the guy. I think he works at it really hard. I think he might end up yelling a lot. I don't know what we're going to get, but I think he's under a ton of pressure. And I think Fox is too. This move is going to be called out consistently all year round. I could be wrong. Maybe he's going to be great, but it's a tough gig to start with. Absolutely. Lamar Jackson is under a lot of pressure in different kinds of ways. So the Ravens have the best roster in the NFL. The Ravens have been un-Cowboys-like, very, very un-Cowboys-like. And here's why. The Ravens gave Lamar Jackson everything he needed to succeed. The Ravens made every move necessary to be successful. The Ravens were not like the Cowboys. The Cowboys sat on their hands and the old man just let the offseason go by. The Ravens didn't do that. They said, you know what, buddy, we bet on you and we're going to load you up with everything you need. And you know what, man? It's Super Bowl or bust. Yeah, I know there's this Mahomes thing, but I think it's Super Bowl or bust for Lamar Jackson. I think there's just too much there. They're built for it. Law of averages is on their side, and it's going to be all about him. I put him on the list. And I think he'll have a really good year, obviously, but he's on the list. Here's a weird one. Of all the rookies coming into the NFL, arguably no one is more important than Xavier Worthy from Texas. And it should be obvious, but they don't, other than Travis Kelce, who's a whole story by himself, they don't have options. And you know what? They're going for history. I mean, if they're going to win and they're going to go deep, and Patrick Mahomes is not going to accept and not care that you're a rookie. He's not going to accept anything but winning another championship. They got to have Xavier Worthy. They have to. Their offense is, I'm not going to say dependent upon him because Mahomes will make you great. He could take Brandon out there and probably make him look pretty good. Hit him right in the face a few times. But Xavier Worthy is, I think, one of the two most important and significant rookies to the entire season. The first would be Caleb Williams for a few reasons. Caleb Williams, the quarterback of the Bears, he's trying to carry a franchise. And plus, they have a $5 billion stadium initiative that I think is probably built on the concept of them being successful. So that dude's got a ton of pressure. Xavier Worthy's under the radar, but it matters just as much. They have to have him. I mean, they have to. And they have to have him right away. It's an interesting setup. I'm not going to say he'll be rookie of the year because it's built for quarterbacks. There's just too many rookie quarterbacks in the league. But they win it all again. It's because he is a number two option. They have to have a number two option. And I think it has to be him. Under pressure a lot. Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles. I have no idea why he's coaching again. He shouldn't be coaching again. His team was a train wreck and he was a mess at the end of last season. But he's back for more, and there is no freaking way that leash is not short. I mean, really, really short. Shock collar short. Here's why. One, they melted down last year. They were a mess. Two, story comes out and has not exactly been argued by anybody, including the quarterback. The story comes out that Nick Sirianni and his quarterback, the franchise, face of the franchise, and a pretty solid guy and a solid player, Jalen Hurts, didn't get along for much of last year. Usually that gets you fired in the NFL. He's back, but I got to believe it takes one visit to the office by Jalen Hurts to say, I can't take him anymore, and this guy is toast. Not only that, the looming large, I almost said the ghost, but Belichick is very much alive. The Bill Belichick and his loving 20-something girlfriend are looming over Dallas and Philadelphia and New York. The Belichick cloud is over a lot of coaches. And so tell me if you agree with this, that Sirianni has to deliver, because I think Philadelphia is going to think we have to whack him pretty quickly because we don't want to run the risk of somebody else hiring Bill Belichick and his loving cheerleader girlfriend. So, one couple of weeks where you look like you're falling out, he might get whacked. There should have been a ton of pressure on him anyway. You throw Belichick in there hanging over things, and Belichick would love to coach that team. It's just too good. And I think this guy's on borrowed time. Michigan coach Sharon Moore. He's the head coach at Michigan, and it's a weird vibe. It's just been weird since last year. There's all that talent. They win a championship. Then they got that Coen Brothers like movie with the spy dude, the porn star. It's a weird setup. But I think this guy's an impossible job. He does. There's just like too many time bombs around him that makes this a really, really difficult setup. And oh, by the way, he has no quarterback, and Texas is coming to town with a 3-year starter. And next thing you know, you could lose by 8 or 10 at home, and he's in all kinds of trouble. The setup for this guy is weird. He's replacing a legend in Jim Harbaugh. He's replacing a dominating force in Jim Harbaugh, a character in Jim Harbaugh. His offense has been completely gutted. The term I've used is they're clunky, but that's being generous to say Michigan is clunky in offense right now. They don't have a quarterback. They don't really know what they're doing yet. And then they get Texas, and they're a touchdown underdog at home, and it might go up even more than that. So he's got that. He's got a tough setup offensively. Now, they may be good enough on defense to survive and keep him around. So he's got that part that is difficult to fix. Every offensive problem they have, he's going to get blamed and said, well, if Jim were here, if crazy Jim were here, he'd fix that. So I think it's just a difficult recipe. And then, oh yeah, you've got the Netflix documentary of which he's implicated, believe it or not. He's implicated. That sort of thing is just hanging around as well. And here's the thing about big-time college programs. So presidents and athletic directors, when the coach doesn't win enough, what they do is, well, look, when the coach wins, as you know, with Michigan, when they win enough, headless bodies could be found in the car, and it doesn't matter. As long as you win, nothing else matters. Michigan proved that a year ago. Nothing else matters. But you'll be amazed how quickly these presidents and these athletic directors become, sort of like Ken Paxton, the moral compass of everybody in football. You'll be amazed how quickly they'll use it against him. So this scandal that just sticks around, it's just too weird. Whether they get put on probation or not, nobody knows. But it's the kind of thing where if he didn't do well enough, or they felt like he was slipping away and they just didn't like the job he was doing, what the president or the AD would do is use we have that Connor Stallion scandal still hanging over us, and it was you're part of it. So I'm sorry, man, we got to cut you loose because look what happened. They'll use it against him in a way they wouldn't use it against Jim Harbaugh unless he wins enough. Unless he wins enough.